Well, good morning. I am excited today to be with Saphra McCall, and he is with Grace Taylor Designs. And I have known Saphra for years, and it's really fun to have a true craftsman in today to talk about what he does. So, Saphra McCall.
Thank you.
Do you want to start just with a little bit about telling us about Saphra and how you got to Grace Taylor Design?
I came to woodworking, construction, I guess, broad field, sort of, I don't know if it was by accident or just by life, I don't know. I started out as a classical musician, went to school for classical trumpet performance, was doing the classical musician thing, trying to follow that route, taking orchestra auditions and all of that kind of stuff. Life caught up with me, family, kids, and started looking for something more steady, more traditional. I don't know. And the first job that I landed in was a construction job. Sort of slowly worked my way up the ladder in that position. Ended up in their cabinet shop. And that's now, we're talking 2008, 2009.
Right.
So everything, the bottom fell out. I don't know. I mean, depending on who's watching this,
Right.
some people may not even, they may be like, what are you talking about? But yeah, so
Those fun years of
the economy collapsed in 2009. Many, all kinds of businesses, of course, went out of business, but especially construction and that the company that I was working for included. And so the day they called me into the office, essentially to lay me off, I mean, I'd already seen the writing on the wall a little bit and sort of knew what was coming. So probably, we're talking a matter of days, I started talking to my wife about, the possibility of just buying their equipment and starting my own shop. And so when they called me in to lay me off, I basically asked them, what about the equipment? They said, good question. We're looking to get rid of it. They,
It's yours.
Yeah, they essentially asked me to make them an offer, and I did. And essentially the rest is history. Skipping over a lot of,
a lot of the details,
the typical hurdles of business startup and all that. But so yeah, 2010, I took all of their equipment and rented a 1,500 square foot garage and. The rest is history.
The rest is definitely history. So there's a lot that I know that the background that you have and the work that you have completed. Beautiful work, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Can you just kind of describe the scope of work that you cover? And is there a design element in there as well, or is it just?
Well, so there's a tagline on our website. I don't know how good it is or not, but it's stayed there through all these years. If it's made of wood, we can build it. And I mean, that does, in kind of a hokey way, sum up, what we do. I mean, we have done everything. We've built everything from windows to doors to, of course, cabinets, millwork, full walls of wood. I mean, literally,
Everything.
If it's got wood in it,
Right.
Chances are we've, made something like it, or and really that's what's the most exciting thing to me is when something comes along that I haven't done. That's but and then is design involved? Usually just because of the way the process works, it's rare that we do a project where we don't have some influence on the design. Okay. Even if it's just how do we make that work in this space? Okay. I mean, that is, it may not be designed the way most people think about it, but it is design. It's like, right. How are you going to get these cabinets to work, right? And how are you going to get them to fit there? Like
or like a coffee bar,
right.
Or something that you can look at it, envision it, and
right.
design it.
Right.
Okay.
So people come to us in all different stages, from the homeowner who has never met or even heard of an interior decorator, all the way up to the interior decorators themselves.
Yes.
Coming to us with a very set design. We want this in this finish, and this is where we want it to go. So
Okay.
it really runs the spectrum.
Yeah.
So we have the capability, but we don't always have to implement it.
Okay, nice. So pricing, and I'm sure that too is all over the gamut.
Mm-hmm.
But how do you structure pricing? Is it by project or is it by hourly or
It
is
pretty
it?
much. I mean, yes and yes. The hourly is always the kind of the major influencer of the bottom line. You know, it's of course materials cost, but really, how long is it going to take us to do it,
Okay.
and you know how many hours of time? That's really the formula for determining a price. And so, because of that, it is very job specific. You know,
Okay.
so.
And staying on budget and within a budget.
Yeah, I mean that more and more as time has gone on, I've become less bashful about addressing that head on. You
Okay.
know, let's just talk about like, do you have an idea
Right.
of what this is going to cost? Do you have an idea of what you want this to cost? Do you have an idea of what's the ceiling, like, you know, where, you know, they call it a lot of different things. You know, I'm drawing a blank here.
Just from the scope of work.
What's it called
To-
when you say something and their jaw drops? Like,
Oh, I don't.
you
Mic
know,
drop. I don't
yeah,
know.
I don't know. Doesn't matter.
Okay.
Yeah, just talking about budget up front, because you know it does happen. You know, somebody's looking for something, and it just doesn't line up. It's not possible for.
Okay.
It may not be possible. Maybe it's possible for somebody, but it's not possible for us
Right.
to give them what they want for the price that you
I know the
they're
feeling.
willing to spend.
Right, I like that. I have another question. Can you walk us through kind of like your workflow, excuse me, from like consultation to completion? Asking for a friend, if you were going to renovate my kitchen, for example, where would we start?
Well, I guess inspiration is always, you know,
Okay, so you'd come to
it's
my
a term
house.
that's, you know, probably overused, but the inspiration photos, you know, where
Okay.
do you have the inspiration photos? Let's see where, you know, and really that's the worst thing is when somebody says, I
They have no idea.
I want this thing.
Okay.
Well, what do you want it to look like? I'm not sure. Like, well, have you seen something that like inspired you? Not really. You know,
Okay,
like that's,
So it's best if somebody were to come to you with like an idea for counters, an idea for cabinets.
yeah,
or
not
an
even, not
idea
counters. I mean, but just,
how they want the feel. Do they want
yeah. I
open
mean,
and you
yeah.
know, like retro, or do they want it
yeah,
more
style.
country
I mean, style is a big one. I mean, it comes down to when they say a picture says 1,000 words. There's no replacement for that, and that's why it's really a kind of a requirement to work with anybody to even get started on the kitchen that you want to build. Is
Okay.
you know, we need to see something.
Ideas,
Yeah,
okay.
we need, because it's, you know,
read my mind.
everything is custom, and if you're not after something that's, you know, exactly what you want, if you're okay with, you know, something that is
Ish.
close to what you want, then there's no reason to spend the money on custom.
Okay.
Like, why are you even talking to a custom cabinet maker
Okay.
if you're satisfied with what you can get at Home Depot? Because and I have told people that in, you know, a soft way.
Right. Well, and there are situations that warrant a Home Depot cabinet.
Right.
Right, but there are definitely situations that warrant a custom design. So I get that.
Yeah.
I understand that. So talk to me about your favorite material to work with. Obviously, wood.
Yeah, I mean, that's something that has changed, and I guess I would say I've added two things that are my favorite. I mean, just off the cuff, I would say cherry or walnut. Like, I mean, that dates all the way back to the beginning, just for a variety of reasons.
Cherry
Just the look, the way the wood works. It's when you're working the wood, the way the wood reacts, I mean, everything. Yeah, it's really, really hard to put into words. But that I've added,
I always liked maple.
yeah, I mean maple is certainly it's the go-to. It's a standard material in cabinets, I guess because it checks a lot of the boxes. It's a hardwood, so it's durable. It's very paintable. It's not really porous, so you can put a paint on it and it takes a finish really well. It's not at all a great wood for staining. I mean, it can be done, and there are techniques you can apply to make it easier. But if you just want to take a piece of wood and put a stain on it and have that be the end result, maple isn't the wood for that.
So the first house that I bought was a 1920s, marketed as vacant land. And we took apart, I mean, it was literally 1920. We took apart the big porcelain sink, and a lot of it was maple. And I think that's why it's a lighter wood, and I liked maple. And
some of that may go, and I may be showing some of my ignorance, but I believe that, going back historically, maybe it was more readily available, I don't really know about growth rates.
Yeah,
I can't talk about that. But
that's fine. What do you see trending right now? I mean, can you just, like in terms of kitchens?
Everything is going simpler. I mean,
cleaner lines.
Clean, straight lines. And it has been going that way. And I mean, I feel like the momentum of that is starting to slow down a little bit, and it's starting to come back towards kind of more traditional. I haven't seen a raised panel door in a kitchen,
for a while.
Yeah, 20 years.
Okay.
That's something I don't know. I can't predict whether something like that, little detail like that will come back.
No, I can't predict trends either, but I have seen that it's like even wallpaper coming back, right? I mean, there was a time that there was absolutely no wallpaper.
Right.
I mean, back in the 70s, it was all wallpaper, and then it went no wallpaper, and now a little bit of wallpaper.
Brass
is coming back.
is a big.
I know.
I mean, I remember when, like, the first time I saw a brass handle in a high-end kitchen and thinking, like, oh wow, the brass used to not touch it with a 10-foot pole, but it's everywhere now.
And everybody stripped it all out in order to put in like the brushed nickel. Right, and now
you see a brushed nickel and it like screams, just
update me,
mediocrity.
Yeah, right, which is very fun. I like the black also. I like the clean line. I like a black.
I mean, but going back to your question of what's trending. One thing, it's not a trend, but just that will never go away, I don't think, is the white kitchen. And it's interesting to see how different people deal with that truth, I guess, because some people, they want to do anything except a white kitchen, sometimes at the expense of taste.
Right.
And then other people just embrace it, and they're like, we know that, resale and future taste, this is never going to go out of style, and I think that's true.
And I think if it has a background of white, you can always change up counters or backsplash or other elements of design within the kitchen. It's also, what do you put in the center of that big island? That can soften it. Is a big wood bowl? Is it there's a basket of fruit is there? So I too like a white kitchen. I might do the island a different color, but we'll get to that. And then is there anything else you wanted to add? Because I want to make sure that people can reach out to you, because it's been fun. I asked before we started filming, like, how long have we known each other? And it's decades. And I've watched you grow. I've watched the space in which you work grow and change. I've watched you as a person grow and change, and I remember the excitement of the first property that we had worked together, and how and Amy being excited and you being excited to show me, and you did a great job. And now some of the products that you produce are just stunning.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate that.
So you've actually helped me with a couple things too,
Yeah.
and it's been awesome. So, how, if somebody wants to get in touch with you, how do we get in touch with you?
Excuse me. Website is the quickest and easy. There's a form like on most websites. Contact us,
Okay.
and that just goes right to my email address. So
And that is Grace Taylor
Grace Taylor Designs at gmail.com, and the website is www.gracetaylordesigns.com.
Okay.
So sorry I couldn't come up with a shorter name, but
No. I like the name a lot.
Yeah.
And I think that's it for now. But I look forward to future projects and
Thank you
working
so much
together
for the
and-
opportunity.
Yeah, and hearing more from you along the way.
Yeah.
So thank you for joining us.
My pleasure.
Mm-hmm.